forget to clap again. That's our sync. I've forgotten that every single time up until now, and editing these has been a pain.
I can imagine.
Sync this. Yeah, sync it. Okay. Yeah. How are we going to start this one? Just there at the clap.
Yeah.
Welcome back to World Canon. This is episode 4. 3. I'm already forgetting.
3.
Dude. Guess episode 3. We're back with Alex. Who would have thought? Yeah, Alex, you want to tell the folks how you've been and maybe introduce yourself for any newcomers, which there aren't going to be, but let's just, for the sake of posterity, do that while I pull up the outline for today's episode.
Yeah. Chris and I go back a couple years now. We met at work. I've been buddies ever since. We like to go shoot guns and do good degenerate activity. We're good boys.
Yeah, we're good boys.
We're some good boys, but
we like being able to just shoot with, mag dump into a pile of trash, but we're
pretty much
safety cautious. Safety's first.
Yeah.
All right. You're basically my co-host at this point. You don't really have to introduce yourself. That's cool. Well, you did mention shooting. Earlier, we went shooting to get in the spirit of today's topic. This is going to be a very, I want to say anti-government episode, but it's going to be, how do you even describe it?
Like,
the government's not that good, guys.
Yeah.
I love being American, and I definitely think this is the best country on earth ever.
Absolutely.
But our government and high level like federal law enforcement has some issues. It's made of people, so
typically there's humans involved.
When there's human involvement, you can't fault them for everything because they do more good than bad. True. Except for maybe the ATF, but we'll try to keep the slander to a minimum.
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
That's right. I wanted to get like a fake ATF shirt before this episode that just says like something stupid, like it's the acronym for something stupid.
There is.
I know.
At Axe Force 1. I saw it when we
what does it say?
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
That's it?
Yeah. I think it says alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Who's bringing the chips? Or something.
Because I know like there's an FBI shirt that says like female body inspector.
Yeah.
Which is so good. It's a great idea. It's a great idea. I want to get something like ATF for that, but I didn't because I'm lazy, I guess. But yeah, how have you been since the last time?
Yeah, good.
We're just going to pretend, sorry to interrupt. We're going to pretend like we haven't already hung out for like 3 hours before this.
Yeah. Well, I got a new job. Liking it so far. It's good. I'm over in Great Washington State in Liberty Lake. It's really nice over there. Drive isn't too bad. My coworkers are cool. So lots of transition, lots of getting used to that. Then, making music still. For anyone that doesn't know, I do make music.
Yeah, when's the next drop?
Soon.
Okay, good.
Sooner than later. It's been a few years.
Craving. A little. That's
awesome.
That's awesome. Had some different undertones in that word. I realized I'm anticipating, palpitating for some. No, I need to think of better words.
Throbbing.
Yes, I am salivating for some more
very soon.
Music.
It's been a couple years, so I have a lot in the works that'll be coming out sooner than later. So
awesome. Yeah. I need some more gym music.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Got you.
How do we segue into this? Perfect. January 3rd, 1948. Randy Weaver was born in Villisca, Iowa, to a I just realized I never recorded his parents' name, but that's not a super important detail. His family was Christian-ish, I guess. I couldn't find many details on like his actual childhood and his mom and dad, but claimed to be Christian, moved around a bunch of denominations, mainly Protestant, Evangelical, Presbyterian, and Baptist too, though, which aren't Protestants. Did you know that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Some weird... Church history is crazy.
It is.
Maybe we'll do an episode on that someday. It'll be like 15 hours long.
Yeah.
Anyway, they moved around a bunch of denominations trying to find one that aligned with their views. I'm not entirely sure if his... Because, okay, real quick, before we get any further, this episode is going to have a lot of white supremacy themes in it.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
That's going to be like a main focal point, a center point, if you will.
This is where I feel like the stereotype for North Idaho comes from, is this situation. Because it was so publicized and seen by everyone.
The entire country.
And they just align that with like, oh, North Idaho is racist.
They wouldn't be that far off from being right.
See, I agree. I do agree. But I also think like where we're at, Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene, the average person isn't.
Yeah, no, it's not
a
actually
white
like
supremacist.
That
yeah.
I did see 3 of them one day, though.
How'd you know they were?
Oh, dude, full on.
They dressed like
black
Casper.
Get up. They had their signs. They were on a sidewalk, out winning hearts and minds for the white cause, I guess. And I was just going to the grocery store, and I pulled up next to them, and they looked at me and they pointed to me and waved like I was one of them. Like, hey, you're about as white as they get. Join us. Like, nope, not me. Actually, talked about this with that Kevin Chu guy, the Fishbowl podcast guy I told you about last time. He actually hit me up again.
Nice.
Wanting to do another episode.
Nice.
And we just had some scheduling conflict and tried to reschedule. And once again, I haven't heard back from him. So and I also still don't know if there's our episode we did out. So I'm still pretty sure that's not gonna happen, but I'm holding on. Yeah, I don't know if his like parents were where I was getting at. I don't know if his parents were like that and he grew up in that, or if that was a later thing in adulthood after meeting his wife and moving to North Idaho. But it's just speculation. There's also one more thing I want to preface. There is going to be a lot of, I'm going to use the words supposedly and allegedly a ton in this episode. Those are going to be the 2 words of the day, because records of pretty much everything are very conflicted.
Yeah.
Recordings on both sides of the actual siege itself and like Randy Weaver's life are very all over the place, kind of ping pong. So I kind of just had to like weed through it and find bits and pieces that matched across the board, or I just went with like court record recordings, or literally even Wikipedia at some points, because I mean, reading through the whole Wikipedia article for it at least the tone of it sounded unbiased. Yeah. So I went, I'm not proud of it, but I went with Wikipedia on some things. But yeah, anyway, growing up, went around through a bunch of different denominations, couldn't find anything that matched up with their personal or political views. After graduating from Jefferson High School, he attended Iowa Community College until he dropped out in 1968 to join the Army during the Vietnam War. He was stationed at Fort Bragg, where he never saw combat, but did receive demolitions training. Once he got out, and you were talking about this earlier, and I want to save it for later.
Yep.
Because I think this is like mentioned in all the documentaries, and it's a bit of a stickler, and most people don't know this. Once he got out, he claimed to be a Green Beret, but his discharge papers showed he actually was not. But he did retire as a sergeant. So
I did not know that.
Yeah. No. Well, he either claimed to be, I think he maybe claimed to be, but then also during the FBI's threat profiling on him, they were like, oh, we've heard this guy was a Green Beret, and I guess nobody looked into it or checked his actual discharge papers.
Shocker.
So, yeah, they just thought he was more dangerous than he actually was, which goes into a line. I don't want to really spoil anything. We'll get to that part when we get there.
Yeah.
If you've never heard of this or have been like, I don't know, heard anything or watched anything on Ruby Ridge, it's pretty crazy.
It's polarizing, man. It is polarizing.
It's extremely controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 1970, Randy met his wife-to-be, Vicki Jordanson. He introduced himself as Pete. Oops. That was a little notification. We're going to close that out. That's great. This is a professional history podcast.
Nothing less.
1970, Randy met his wife-to-be, Vicki Jordanson. He introduced himself as Pete because he hated his given name, Randall, which is completely fair. Who wouldn't? Yeah. I would hate being named Randall.
Old Randy. Randall Weaver.
They married a short time later in October 8th, 1971. In my own personal opinion, Vicki was crazy. She became the religious head of the family and believed in something called Old Covenant laws. And I actually know
I'm scared.
Yeah, I actually know somebody like this, and they're a very interesting. Well, I know a whole family like this, and they're a very, very interesting family. Very they live a very I would say kind of fear-based life. It doesn't seem like a fun way to live, especially if you claim to be a Christian. You know, it's kind of little hypocritical in a way, or I don't know, it's weird. But Old Covenant laws, this constitutes one believing they are a true, quote unquote, true Israelite and actual Jews are fake. They would even go as far as exclusively calling God by his Jewish name Yahweh, but there wasn't much observing old Jewish traditions and holidays. It wasn't actual much like Jewish heritage.
Okay.
It was just this weird, kind of ties in real well with white supremacy. It's odd. I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. In the 70s and 80s, there was a general consensus among Christian and Christian-based groups that the world was going to end any second. Lots of doomsday prepper stuff going on. That's kind of where it started, was in the 70s and 80s.
Got it.
Oops. Let me scroll down. Okay. While still living in Iowa, Vicki gave birth to their oldest daughter, Sarah Weaver, in 1976. Samuel Weaver, he's cool, in 1978. And Rachel Weaver in 1982. Finally, in 1983, Randy and Vicki saw the signs of the time, and Vicki insisted an apocalypse was imminent, so they made up their minds to move to somewhere more remote. They chose northern Idaho and bought a 20... Dude, okay, you're going to love and hate this part at the same time. Right? You're going to love and hate this part at the same time, because so did I.
Polarizing.
20-acre plot of land in Naples using $5,000 saved in cash and their own moving truck as capital. So overall, about maybe $15,000, probably $10,000 for 20 acres, which now goes for, I don't know what, almost $1 million.
20 acres?
20 acres.
Probably more. Probably way more, depending on where. Because I mean, right now, like an acre up here is like $200,000-$300,000. Just to, yeah,
it's abominable, dude. It's like borderline, not borderline. It is criminal.
It's nuts.
Okay, well, you know, they got a good deal.
Yeah.
Moving to the mountains fit with the family's old covenant views and thinking they're Israelites, especially Vicky, and would have been the perfect end of the world sanctuary. Scripture, like Matthew 24:16, urging those in Judea to flee into the mountains during the apocalypse, kind of fit well with literally moving to the mountains. However, one aspect they may or may not have anticipated when moving to Naples, Idaho. Can you guess what that was?
Weather?
Just, I don't know, probably, maybe. But no, actually, there's a very prominent Aryan nation presence. Yeah, those guys.
Slipped my mind.
Yeah. You kind of, you know, comes and goes. Kind of not so prominent anymore, except for those 3 guys I saw outside of Super One that one time.
I still can't believe that. Here in Post Falls?
Hayden. Okay. Well, there used to be like a whole Aryan nation compound in Hayden. Yeah.
Oh,
like right on the lake.
Dude.
I think they just hung out and like had picnics and stuff and little rallies. Oddly enough, believing they were true Israelites didn't stop them from hanging out with white separatists and neo-Nazis. In fact, it was the white Israelites who were the true chosen people, not the other imposters.
No, what goes wrong in someone's brain?
I don't know. It's a good question, though. Like I said, I feel like it's I think it's rooted in fear and pride, I feel like. And it's definitely a misinterpretation of scripture and grasping for things that you want to be true. Yeah. And only seeing the answers that you want to see.
Yeah.
It's
turning scripture into what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Not what it is.
Pretty
much.
It
is easy to take out of context, but at the same time, that far out of context, I don't know.
I've never been a white supremacist, and I don't plan on it, so I don't really know. I don't know anybody either.
Yeah, same.
Thankfully. But, it was the times. Randy was described by his daughter Sarah as being a curious person, always up for a discussion or debate, and being in a rural area, there weren't many other options for social events, so the family began attending Aryan picnics and parties and meetings. Just going to hang out on the lake with a bunch of other like-minded people. All same skin tone.
Because if I'm not mistaken, Sarah supposedly claims that they weren't white supremacists.
Yeah, they probably weren't. I'm not saying Randy or Vicky were.
Right. But they were there with those people.
True.
So it's but obviously it didn't bother them that much to go have a picnic on the lake.
True.
I don't know.
It is a little bit conflicting.
Just a little bit.
Little controversial as this whole episode will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally my next note. No clue if the Weavers had strong racial views before this, but it probably influenced them a lot.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. It
was at one of these meetings. Here's where it gets interesting. It was at one of these meetings in 1989 that Randy met Gus Magisano. I think that's how you pronounce his name. A.K.A. Kenneth Fadley. And I see you nodding and smiling. You know exactly what this is. Yep. An undercover ATF agent who convinced Randy to sell him sawed-off shotguns. He was then charged with a felony in December of 1990, kicking off events that led to the siege on Ruby Ridge.
Yep. Didn't he, he basically, recorded him giving in to, hey, illegal gun stuff, and he agreed. Because supposedly the informant or the guy undercover knew he needed money. So he's like, hey, I'll give you some money to do this. Mm-hmm. So he agreed on tape, and then they used that against him. Yeah.
I actually didn't know about the on tape part.
Yeah.
It's
cool. Taped him. Yeah.
Dang. Brutal.
Wearing a wire.
It's a way to do it. This was pretty controversial and still is.
Yeah.
Firstly, the ATF was still fairly new at this point, being created in 1972. As a young law enforcement agency, they may have had a chip on their shoulder to produce results, and someone pointed this to lay blame on them for using this method to increw Randy. And I saw this while like researching around some people would claim that it's illegal for a federal agent or law enforcement to entice somebody to commit a crime. They would be wrong. It's actually not true.
Really?
Yes, it's not. Law enforcement agents are able to provide opportunities for a normal law-abiding citizen to commit a crime, then charge them with that crime. However, it does become illegal when law enforcement is guilty of what's called entrapment. This is convincing a normally law-abiding citizen to commit a crime via harassment or importuning, threats, or physical violence. So like forcing them to commit a crime is illegal. But if you say, hey, buddy, I'll pay you for selling me illegal firearms.
Yeah.
And they do it.
That's so weird to me though. Because like you have someone that's doing nothing wrong. And then you convince them to do something wrong with some sort of incentive, whether that be money, drugs, whatever, and they agree. He still didn't, to my knowledge, didn't actually do anything though, right? He just agreed on tape to do what the guy wanted him to with the illegal firearms.
Maybe.
Allegedly.
I read, allegedly, supposedly... You're right. Supposedly, he actually sold them the firearms. I read they sold them.
Okay.
He sold them.
He probably did.
You heard they just got it on tape.
Yeah. They probably got both.
Could be both.
Yeah.
Could be only one. Allegedly.
See, that would make sense, though, because they just got him saying on tape that he would commit a crime. That
I don't think that would hold up in court.
So he definitely did, but... I don't know. That's just so manipulative and deceptive to me.
Yeah. Well,
and
we'll get to it in a minute, but they were looking for an informant. They didn't just want to trip some guy up to send him to prison. They were trying to get somebody to inform on the
white supremacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still though, but at the same time, not illegal, but also a little messed up.
I morally, to me, I think it's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what they're trying to do with their operation and investigate that whole situation with those people, but just the deception of like, hey, do something illegal. Oh, I got him on tape and he did it. He's busted. Let's
caught him 4K, bud.
Yeah, it's like
your career is over, dude.
I don't know.
Say bye-bye to your family. So, shoot, where were we? Okay, yeah. Some might even say the specific law banning sawed-off shotguns was an out-of-date law created to combat gangsters during the Prohibition, and they might be right.
Probably right.
I actually didn't see anybody say that. I just added that one.
But I mean, I think that's right.
Some is me.
Yeah. I mean, like... What's up with short-barreled stuff being so dangerous? Because here's the thing. The ATF's
easy to conceal.
ATF's like, okay, so we put a tax stamp on a short-barreled rifle because it's dangerous. Same with suppressors or full autos. Unless you pay us $200, then it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. You just pay a little extra, then you can be... more dangerous. I don't know. Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But as you were saying,
I mean, it was made to combat gangsters during the Prohibition that like concealed sawed-off shotguns and ran around with machine guns, but that the Prohibition was a century ago.
Right.
It's literally a century ago.
A little bit outdated.
It's over. I want a machine gun is what I'm saying. I want a machine gun with a silencer, and I don't want to have to spend $20,000 and wait 2 years to get it. Just let me have the stupid, what is it, P90? I don't know why I like those things so much. I just do. They look super cool.
Super cool.
With a silencer on it. That's it. This is what I want.
Yeah.
And I want it for not an arm and a leg, and I don't want to wait for forever to have it.
I want it now.
I want it now.
Need it today.
Vicky Weaver was extremely unhappy about her husband being charged with a felony and wrote to the attorney who handed down Randy's charges, Maurice O. Ellsworth, with a letter calling him a servant of the Queen of Babylon, quote unquote, and stating, quote, whether we live or die, we will not bow to your evil commandments, end quote, which likely didn't help with the FBI's profiling of the family later on. But that was the crazy religious side coming out of good old Mrs. Vicky Weaver.
See, I'll be honest, from the research I've done, like videos, documentaries, and reading on this subject, I didn't really know this side of it. Like the servant of Babylon and the
crazy religious side.
I did not know that. Because almost everything you watch is defending them. Mm-hmm. At least the ones I've seen. It's very one-way bias. Where they're like, oh yeah, the ATF FBI did all this wrong stuff, which they
did some wrong.
Yeah.
The Weavers weren't the best.
Yeah.
But they were still a family and innocent people died.
Valid.
I'm trying to remain as unbiased in this as possible. Thing is, I genuinely know people like this.
Yeah.
And it is a very weird thing. And it does mess with people in a very bad way.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, it's rough.
It does more bad than good.
Definitely. Oh yeah, actually, this wasn't Randy's first time or first run-in with the law. Hold on. Let's rewind there. Okay. However, this wasn't Randy's first run-in with the law or the first time they had been investigated by the federal government. In 1984, Randy had a dispute with her neighbor Terry Kinninson over a $3,000 land transaction. The Weavers took Kinninson to court and won the $3,000 as well as an additional $2,100. Kinninson got so ticked at this that he wrote letters to the FBI and Secret Service, and the local sheriff's office, claiming Randy had threatened to kill the governor of Idaho, President Reagan, and even the Pope. Hi. Hey! Oh, hold on. Hey, you want to come say hi? Hey, babe! Come say hi! Yelling right into the mic, I just realized. Hello, everybody. You want to say hi to my beautiful wife?
Please, you can drop out.
Sure. Okay. Bye-bye. Where were we? For my lovely wife, everybody. You could hear her voice. Maybe someday you'll actually see her in presence. Maybe. Probably
Reagan.
not. She'll never agree to that.
The Pope. Governor of Idaho.
Yes. Governor of Idaho and Reagan almost makes sense, but the Pope is just so... Why the Pope? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. That's a weird threat.
That is crazy.
What do you think? You think he actually said that?
Probably not.
You don't think so?
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
This was I would, if I were a gambling man, I would put money on Terry maybe having a few screws loose.
That's fair.
Maybe being a little crazy if he wrote letters to the sheriff, FBI, and Secret Service.
Yeah.
Over that, claiming that his neighbor threatened to kill the governor, the president, and the Pope.
Was that all the letter entailed? Or was there more?
I mean, that was about it. That's all I could really find.
Okay.
But he wrote multiple letters.
Oh, okay.
Remember? One to each branch. And so the guy, he was probably crazy. Just willing to bet from those two context clues, he probably had a couple screws loose.
Yeah.
Maybe a crazy Vietnam vet. I don't know. Because this is about that time.
It's not like he's sending an email either.
No, this took effort.
Go to the post office,
yeah, to the post office, probably a couple hours away. He was the Weaver's neighbor, so he was way out there.
Yeah.
Sending a letter took a lot of effort. So we can agree Terry was crazy.
He's probably crazy.
Yeah, probably crazy.
He's probably crazy.
All three groups, the Sheriff's Office, FBI, and Secret Service, launched investigations into the Weavers, though. I mean, they took the crazy guy's letter seriously, I guess. The Secret Service formed the opinion that the Weavers were full-on Aryan nation at this point, which were viewed as a potential national security threat. Nowadays, they're actually classified as a terrorist organization.
Good.
Look at them, moving on up in the world. Good job, guys. They also believe the Weavers to have a weapons cache or caches on their property. The family caught on in February 20. I don't know how, but they caught on in February 28th, 1985. They filed an affidavit. Thank you. With the county claiming that their personal enemies were trying to provoke the FBI to attack them. They even wrote to President Reagan on May 6, 1985, saying they believed someone would be forging a letter in their name to him, threatening him. No such letter came up, but this was still used as ammunition later in their prosecution as part of their conspiracy against the federal government. Things are just spiraling downhill for these people at the moment.
Well, because once they got him doing something illegal, didn't they issue a warrant for his arrest? And then there was some, I can't remember exactly what it said, but there's some mix up with the court date. Better?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You sounded... Here, tighten this little guy right here.
This?
The other one.
This.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
That's probably what happened last episode.
It's just too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, there was a mix-up with this court date after they issued a warrant. And because he missed that...
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that's why they issued a warrant, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's why they issued a warrant. Because he missed the court date, and then that's when the full blown investigation kind of started.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, yeah.
Hold your horses, dude. You're rushing this episode.
I'm getting excited.
Yeah, clearly you are. Chill out. I feel like I'm so much louder than you.
Really?
Oh, I was definitely louder than you. Okay, there we go. We're good now.
Okay.
These are different mics.
Really?
Yeah. Yours is
look the same.
Same brand, but yours is better at condensing. And
gotcha.
I think I just need to keep my gain down a little bit. This is people like shop talk and behind the scenes stuff, so I don't have to worry about cutting all this out.
That's fair.
Less work for me.
Yeah.
Gosh, I didn't realize how much work goes into editing these things.
Dude, your face when you said that, just looking at the ground.
I'm thinking about a week from now, and I have to sit down and just oh, here we go again. Yeah. What did I mess up this time?
Yeah. Especially when you're messing with audio, it gets tricky.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine the video side's pretty tricky too.
Not if you don't try that hard.
Okay.
It seems to work. Maybe we'll start upping the production on this so we can actually make it good quality. But we have to actually get the audio and recording to work first. Hopefully we figured that out this episode.
I think we did.
Hopefully. Yeah. We did a lot of pre-recording, recording little snippets and making sure that this actually sounded good and looked good beforehand. So if it doesn't work, I give up, and I'm going to take my laptop to the shooting range next time we go, along with the camera and the
Can we put the 308 through it?
Sure. This sounds awesome. And I'm giving up on this podcast thing. 7 episodes and I'm like, I hate this. This sucks. No, it's a lot of fun.
I agree.
Even the learning curve part is fun.
That's
eventually we'll get there, and it'll just be good quality, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No such letter came up, yada yada. At the time of the ATF felony charges, they supposedly also tried to claim Randy was a bank robber, which was totally false. He had absolutely no criminal record before this. But like I said, this is a very controversial thing, and lots of weird, crazy stuff happened. Herb Barley was the lead ATF agent in the Weaver case. He tried blackmailing Randy with the felony charges to inform on the Aryan nations. And there you go, looking for an informant. That's why they needed to try to go with the felony, yada, yada, yada. But Randy wasn't no snitch. Randy didn't want to get stitches. Nope. So the charges were then officially pressed in 1990. What a guy. Yeah, what a dude. Just looking out for his pals at the... Maybe he was Aryan. I'm not sure.
Allegedly.
Supposedly.
Allegedly. I can see it. I mean, we'll never truly know, but I can see it.
Yeah, 100%.
All
he's
the
dead, so
wackadoodle stuff his family was into. I mean,
yeah. Who you can only imagine. Just try to wrap your head around that. Anyway, ATF believed Randy to be too dangerous to arrest on his property, so a couple agents posed as broken down motorists basically just stopped on the side of the road, pretended to be broken down, and when Randy and Vicky stopped to help them, they were arrested. They made bail and were told a trial would start on February 19th, 1991. Randy was appointed public attorney Everett Hoffmeister and parole officer Carl Richens, or Rickens. Richens. I think Richens. Randy called Richens the same day he was arrested and made bail. Richens told Randy he didn't have a case filed for him yet and to leave his number so he could call Randy back when he did. Carl Richens claims Randy never left a number. That comes into play. This is where a whole bunch of tricky stuff happens. These are all the little things that trickled into place to cause the siege in the first place. Meanwhile, Everett Hoffmeister sent the Weavers letters on January 19th, 31st, and February 5th, 1991. Dang, I got to figure out the notification thing.
Dude, that's the same noise my laptop makes at work.
This is... I'm glad we got the microphones and the video worked out.
Yeah.
I believe we'll... Allegedly we have the microphones and the video figured out. I'll figure out when we go back and watch this. But this episode is going to be so full of so many dead silent parts and notifications from my laptop. Bottom. Should make that. I should just edit a bunch of those. Edit even more of those into the episode.
Does the mic pick that up?
Yeah.
So it'll be in the recording?
Yeah, it'll be in the recording.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, this is so botched already.
Super convenient.
We've already gone for almost an hour, so we're not redoing this.
Wait, we did?
40 minutes.
Okay. I was like, dang.
I know. We still have so much to go.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick this into gear, a little higher gear. They made bail. Randy never left his number, claims Carl Richens. Meanwhile, Everett Hoffmeister sent the Weavers letters on January 19th and 31st and February 5th, 1991 to start working on their case. On February 7th, 1991, Richens sent a letter to the Weavers saying that he had the case file and needed to talk with Randy. However, this letter erroneously stated the trial was on March 20th, 1991, not February 19th. Finally, February 19th, 1991 comes, and Randy fails to appear in court. The judge issues a bench warrant, like you mentioned earlier. The judge issues a bench warrant before the fact Richens' letter had a mistake saying the trial was in March. Before realizing the fact that Richens' letter said that. Execution on the warrant was postponed, though, but not withdrawn in order to see if Randy would show up on March 20th instead. Randy, believe it or not, once again fails to appear, and U.S. Marshals...
Shocker. Wow.
U.S. Marshals begin negotiations with the Weavers.
Dun, dun, dun.
Here we go. We're getting there. We're climbing up. We're about to the top of the roller coaster. That first part where that chain is clinking the roller coaster up to the top.
Yep.
And it's about to hit that apex and just dip
This is
down
where shots get fired, man. No pun intended, but
literally shots get fired.
That's what people. Yeah. Well, yeah.
No spoiling it.
Yeah.
No spoiling it.
Yeah.
Shots get fired and like earlier. A lot of 9 mils flying around. Randy likely didn't show because he believed an unfair trial was imminent. He had a severe distrust of the government. Who wouldn't? I can't even imagine that. Only heightened by recent events. From March 5th, 1991 to October 12th of that same year, the U.S. Marshal Service negotiated with Randy to surrender peacefully until they were ordered to cease. However, a couple agents under the disguise of real estate prospects made contact once again on March 4th, 1992. On March 27th, 1992, Operation Northern Exposure was commenced. Surveillance teams and cameras were put into place around the Weaver property. They found the Weavers to be especially territorial, as they would take up defensive positions whenever a vehicle approached until they identified who it was. You just imagine that, like a whole family and like 3 kids just grabbing like hunting rifles and shotguns and stacking up behind like a pile of firewood or
Just
something.
muzzles out of every window.
Oh yeah, dude, have you seen that movie Free State of Jones?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you all about it. It stars Matthew McConaughey. Whoo-hoo.
I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Civil War movie. He plays like a Confederate deserter, and he comes back to his brother's farm. Brother who's died. He brings his dead nephew back to his sister-in-law and her family. And it's like, I think more towards the end of the war. So Confederate Army's desperate. This like cavalry detachment of Confederate troops comes by to like take food from the farm, and he like wards them off. And then they come back again, and he has his sister-in-law, her 2 daughters standing outside with rifles pointed at the guys on horses, and they have a bunch of like broomsticks and stuff sticking out of the windows in the house to look like more people with guns.
Kind of genius
to scare them off. Yeah.
Nice.
Just 2 little girls with like these massive muskets. They're like little
It's like bigger
pistol.
than them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have it braced up on a fence.
Just holding it backwards. Upside down.
No, honey, not like that. No. Somehow that worked, but it was a movie, so who cares?
Yeah.
I swear that movie was literally just an excuse for Matthew McConaughey to say the N-word. He says it so many times.
That's what Leo did in Django.
Yeah.
He
did.
Super like
he put his chest into it, dude.
All Southern too. Like, oh my goodness.
He like conjured up his ancestors in that one.
Yeah.
Coughed it out.
He played that role so well.
Too well.
It's a tough role, but just that level of acting, yeah.
That movie, dude, that movie rules, honestly.
Yeah.
I love it. That scene towards the end where he's freeing his wife. Django's freeing his wife, and they're in the house, and there's like that like one housemaid, and there's the woman. She's like the lady of the manor, that old white lady. I can't remember her name, like Mrs. whatever. And she's like shouting at Django, like, "What are you doing with that gun? Get down!" Like berating him, being all racist. And then he's like looking at the maid. He's like, "Say bye-bye, Mrs." And she says, "Bye-bye, Mrs." And then he shoots her with like this shotgun. And she just goes flying through the door. Such a good scene.
Cora, before you go, will you tell Miss Laura goodbye?
Do what now?
I said tell Miss Laura goodbye.
Bye, Miss Laura.
Love that movie. But dude, okay. imagine this, right? Imagine you're a little kid,
Mm-hmm.
and the Weavers are your parents, and just imagine how surreal. Like every day throughout this siege process, that's how you're living. It's not like playing Xbox, going outside, riding your bike, going to class. Like your parents are just pointing guns out the windows, fearing for their lives, and probably believing some pretty wacky stuff too. So it's like, I mean, imagine being the kids, bro. Oh my goodness, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Deep thought over there. Yeah.
I was trying to think of something funny to say, but I can't.
It's so sad. Like, dude.
How can I make this funny?
Like, I don't know.
You don't.
When you're 10, you don't think about that type of stuff. Like, they probably didn't understand, but they were damn well scared.
When did Home Alone come out? The first Home Alone?
Like early 2000s, I think.
Really?
I think so. Maybe earlier, but somewhere around then.
Some strong Home Alone vibes.
You know, Trump's in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that scene? Yeah.
Yeah, he gives him instructions.
Yeah.
On the street. Kevin.
Kevin.
He gives Kevin instructions on where to go. Kevo. Didn't that guy like grow up and get addicted to meth or something?
One of those like child actor situations where his adult life was not great.
Very negatively influenced by his probably childhood career.
Allegedly was sexually abused by Michael Jackson.
Oh. Now, if you're gonna get,
I'm pretty sure.
If you're gonna get diddled by any celebrity, that's the one to go with.
There's a bit in a comedy special I watched where he talked about that. He's like, now listen, it's gonna be anybody.
Who was it?
The stand-up? I don't know.
Oh.
I think he was also talking about maybe Michael Jordan, maybe Michael Jackson. I don't know. But he's like, it's gonna be anybody.
There's a new Prime documentary, The Dark Side of Kids TV or something like that. Yeah. I haven't watched it.
It's on HBO too, or Max.
I think I heard it's literally just all about that one Nickelodeon director's weird fascination with feet, but like he never actually did anything illegal. Just it was kind of weird and maybe a little bit creepy.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Just a smidge.
Just a strange fascination with children's feet. We're going to get away from this topic.
Yeah, please. Please.
So we don't need to start going down this road. This is supposed to be family friendly, and I do want to eventually someday have sponsors, so we're going to steer clear of this. Dude, where even were we?
They were fearing for their lives.
Yeah, the whole time. Oh, yeah. Operation Northern Exposure.
Yeah.
Despite his discharge papers saying otherwise, the U.S. Marshals believed Randy was an ex-Green Beret and had prepared his property with explosives and booby traps and would shoot them on sight. They believed they were dealing with someone a lot more dangerous than he actually was. Which really, that belief comes into play. Seriously. At this point, the Weavers were public and being watched by the media. The whole time, law enforcement was building a threat report on them. On April 18th, 1992, Geraldo Rivera, who ran a show called Now It Can Be Told, hired a helicopter to fly over the Weaver cabin. The media reported to take fire from the Weavers, but the pilot who flew the chopper denied such allegations, insisting the Weavers had posed no threat the entire time they flew over their home. Despite this, it still extenuated the threat level on the family. Which makes no sense, but whatever. The first hostile contact was on August 21st, 1992, when 6 U.S. Marshals scouted near the Weavers' cabin. David Hunt, Joseph Thomas, and Frank Norris formed an observation post north of the cabin, while Art Roderick, I don't really like this guy. I feel like he kind of caused a lot of stuff that didn't. Anyway,
his name's Art?
Art.
A-R-T?
A-R-T.
Art. Is that short for something?
Arthur, maybe.
Oh.
I wrote this on my lunch break at work, so
Nice.
I didn't do that much double checking stuff. This may be somewhat of a first draft, only lightly edited, but we're gonna roll with it, baby. We're
It's right. Hit it right.
And then Art Roderick, Larry Cooper, and William Deegan formed a scout team. Once they neared the cabin, Art threw a couple of rocks to test the family's dog, Stryker, reaction. Stryker started to chase the marshals, who would have thought, and Samuel Weaver, who was 14 now, and the family friend, Kevin Harris, who was staying with the family, helping them out, picked up arms and followed after the dog, thinking the dog had gotten scent of a game animal. Randy also followed, but he took an alternate parallel route along an old logging road when he was ordered to stop by camouflaged U.S. Marshals. Randy stood in place until Samuel and Harris arrived. Stryker, though, continued to charge the Marshals when Art, the same guy who threw the rocks, shot the dog, killing it. Samuel, Randy's son, was furious with this and fired back at the Marshals with his gun as he and Harris retreated to cover. At some point, Samuel was hit in the right elbow, supposedly by Deegan, who was then shot and killed by Harris. Randy calls Sam to come to him, and as Samuel's running, he's hit in the back by rounds from Cooper's submachine gun, supposedly meant for Harris, and killed. So the 14-year-old boy gets killed in this firefight.
And wait, to preface too, if I'm not mistaken, weren't the guys they ran into, like the federal agents, weren't they in ghillie suits?
Ghillie suits, camo, just they were like in combat gear.
Because I know a lot of the stuff I've looked at, they said the Weaver family, like their side of things, they just saw armed men in camo.
Yeah, they were armed men in camo. They didn't see like
FBI or like law enforcement. They just saw people with guns on their property that just shot their dog.
Yeah.
So from their perspective, I mean, obviously the situation's escalated heavily with the warrants and the court dates and the investigation and all that. But just speaking on terms of like, imagine that's you. Imagine you're a 14-year-old kid. You go run, chase your dog down, and there's just like 3 armed guys you've never seen on your property in the middle of nowhere that just shot your dog.
Right.
I'd probably shoot back.
Yeah. No. And at the same time, from what I could find anyways, only Randy heard stop U.S. Marshals. Sam and Harris didn't.
Interesting.
And I don't know. This is the part, like I said earlier, where reports on both sides are heavily ambiguous of each other. So I kind of had to go crisscross between both of them and kind of just nitpick the parts that matched and just leave everything else out or up to interpretation because it's all over the board. But yeah, like you were saying, they just saw guys in camouflage who shot their dog. One of the marshals, actually, I can't remember which one, but one of them, after the firefight, he wrote a report like, hey, this is screwed up. We need to change our tactics here. These people shouldn't be dealing with this. They literally just saw guys in camouflage, no idea who they were, shoot their dog and then their son. That's has to stop. Yeah. So, at least they were self-aware.
Yeah.
Or one of them was.
That's just crazy to me, dude. Like, I'd probably, like I said, if I saw guys with guns on my property, it just killed my dog, how are you supposed to react?
I know.
Like, there's no
especially
other... Like, oh.
A kid.
Hey.
Nonetheless. And Harris was just firing back in self-defense and to defend Samuel, probably.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I know, crazy, messed up stuff. Yeah. After this firefight, On August 21st, 1992, at around 11:30 a.m., the U.S. Marshal Service alerted the Sheriff's Department and the FBI. The Sheriff Office mobilized, and shortly later, Idaho Governor Cecil Andrus authorized the use of National Guard and armored personnel carriers. The FBI sent the Hostage Rescue Team, aka HRT, believing there to even be hostages, and Eugene Glenn, who would be the special agent in charge, aka SAC. Once there, Eugene wrote up and approved ROEs for the siege. The very controversial, crazy ROEs, and I actually have them here. First, if any adult male is observed with a weapon prior to the surrender announcement, deadly force can and should be employed if the shot can be taken without endangering any children. Number 2, if any adult in the compound is observed with a weapon after the surrender announcement is made and is not attempting to surrender, deadly force can and should be employed to neutralize the individual. Number 3, if compromised by any animal, particularly the dogs, that animal should be eliminated. And number 4, any subjects other than Randall Weaver, Vicky Weaver, Kevin Harris, presenting threats of death or grievous bodily harm, the FBI rules of deadly force are in effect. Deadly force can be utilized to prevent the death or grievous bodily injury to oneself or that of another. These ROEs were very lenient, especially compared to the FBI's normal deadly force policy, and many members of the task force found them over the top and inappropriate and just stuck with the old policy. But overall, understanding of the ROEs, the threat level the Weavers and Harris posed, and the necessity of deadly force were mildly misconstrued across the board. It was confusing for everybody there. Some snipers believed they were downright green lights to engage. Like, hey, this is all out war. Just shoot the enemy. Which also kind of weird to think that. But anyway, we are here to present the facts.
Yes.
And then maybe speculate on some stuff because that's entertaining.
It is.
But don't take us too serious, please. Please, I beg you. This is definitely, if get anybody yelling at us, this is going to be the episode where some old guy is going to comment, "No,
some boomer,
yeah, or oh, you're an idiot.
Randy was a good man."
I mean, I hope, this thing needs more attention.
Yeah,
I don't care if we get negative comments. It still gets views.
Yeah. It's like, that seems to be too where a lot went wrong, was just the miscommunication and, alignment where people stood as a person who worked for these task forces and FBI and stuff.
I wonder if this is picking up that Subaru outside.
Because, like, imagine, like you just said, you had one guy who's like, oh, green light to kill, right? This is
Let's go. Heck yeah, it's like Vietnam again.
But then you have another guy who's probably like, dude, this is messed up. Like, these people don't deserve this. Yeah. So you have all these entities and different organizations involved in this, and everything's just kind of all over the place.
Okay, hold on. Let me take a sip out of my
Is it going to
really
make that
loud, obnoxious water bottle. Yep. That's the sound of hydration right there.
Hydration. Take a sip of water.
Some good H2O. Got to keep your whistle wet when you're talking for like a couple hours.
Some ASMR of Chris drinking water.
Hold on. Let me do that one more time. Hold on. It's a really loud straw. It's like,
in case you didn't hear it the first time.
Yeah. Let me get really close to the mic too.
Yeah. That's glorious.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing I'd rather hear than that.
I think that's so good. I'm so thirsty. We're also being baked by these lights.
Yeah.
But hey, it's the only way it looks good. So
why did necessary. I look at them? I look it's a bad idea.
Just bright white LEDs. Yeah. So yeah. rules of engagement were construed and miscontrived all across the board. On the same day, a temporary ceasefire is established to allow the Weavers to retrieve Samuel's body, which is placed in a shed near their cabin, and the U.S. Marshal Service to retrieve Deegan's body. The next day, on August 22nd, 1992, Randy is opening the door to the shed his son's body was in when he was shot in the back, wounding him. The shooter was sniper Lon Horiuchi of the FBI's HRT and an Army veteran. So yeah, probably some dude thinking like, oh, sick, Vietnam again. Maybe, I don't know. Allegedly. Don't take that with a fat grain of salt.
Fat.
That's my own
grain of salt.
It's a educated guess, not fact. Anyway, Lon Horiuchi, a somewhat infamous sniper who is also a sniper at the Waco siege only 6 months later. Which I actually didn't realize that Ruby Ridge and Waco were only 6 months apart. Like, they were right next to each other.
And OJ was like 2 years later.
Heck yeah.
It's a wild time.
Rest in peace, my boy.
No,
we lost a real one.
He did it, bro.
Oh, yeah, and he got away with it. That's legendary, dude. He was on Twitter up until he died, posting videos about, playing golf.
Free to juice.
Free to juice. Get orange out of there.
Like, but he rushed for 2,200 yards, Judge. You can't put him in jail.
I had money on that game. Randy, Sarah, and Harris, who were with him at the time, ran back to the cabin, but Lon took a second shot, this time pointed at Harris, who facing straight towards the cabin door, who was facing straight towards the cabin door, on the other side of which stood Vicky Weaver, holding her 10-month-old baby, Elisheba. The crazy old Israeli name. The bullet passed right through Harris and into Vicky's head, killing her. Thankfully, the baby was okay. No baby died.
No baby.
Thankfully. 14-year-old kid, dog, U.S. Marshal.
Do you know how old the baby was?
10 months.
Okay. So,
and Vicky.
Pray to God that baby didn't remember.
I remember this one time, I think my mom was holding me and then her head was gone. And then I was on the ground crying and... Alright, we're going to stop that.
It got dark really fast.
This is like the Nickelodeon bit earlier. Now, his wife and son dead, and both he and Harris badly wounded, Randy had to look to his remaining children. The baby Elisheba was thankfully uninjured, and Rachel and Sarah were at least physically unharmed. Not so sure how they're doing mentally and emotionally, but physically they were good. Harris realized he and Randy needed medical attention and began imploring his friend to surrender, but Randy refused to speak with the FBI. However, a civilian man named Bo Grits, awesome name, by the way.
Bo Grits.
I have no idea if that is like a fake name to hide his identity, but I stinking love that name.
Bo Grits.
That would be such a good like country artist name.
Bo Grits.
Remember, imagine just like an album by Bo Grits.
Yeah, you heard the new Bo Grits album?
I did. Yeah, I heard it at the dive bar the other night playing pool with an old cougar named Martha.
Chris the dive bar with an old cougar named Martha. Imagine. Listening to Bo Grits.
Place just
streaming like on Spotify. Go check it out.
Urine and old peanuts. Dude. Bars are disgusting.
They're terrible.
They're so gross.
Have you been to Iron Horse?
No. I went.
Good,
yeah?
Good.
It smell bad.
Dude, the music's so loud, you can't hear the person next to you. It smells like cigarettes, sweat, and piss. And it's just too crowded.
That's like a classic bar company.
Dude, it's like you're at Disney World trying to find your way through people just to go to the bathroom.
And they're all drunk.
And everyone's hammered. There's fights that go on, and people get egos involved, and it's just not a good place to spend your nights. So
yeah, I don't drink. I've only been to a bar a couple times, and it's just to eat, like just to because
little bar food.
Yeah, and it's disgusting. But around here, some of the rural places, the only place to get food is a bar, because that's all there is.
Yeah,
because people love their booze.
Dude, check out Chalice Brewing in downtown CDA. Super like classy vibes.
But anywhere with brewing in the name isn't
not a bar.
No.
But it's really chill in there. It's a more quiet environment. They have live performers on the weekends, really good music.
Sounds hipster.
Beer's good, everything's on tap. And then Trails Inn Brewery.
I've been there.
Their pizza.
Yeah, the pizza
really
is
good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Crafted is pretty good too. They got really good burgers and pasta.
Burgers are good, yeah.
Yeah, very hipster places though.
Yeah.
Waiters always
especially
have
crafted
beanies and gauge earrings.
Yeah, it feels like you're in Portland.
Yeah. Always offering you IPAs. That's all there is apparently. Yeah, Randy wouldn't speak with the FBI. Bo Grits, good old Bo Grits. Bo Grits,
now probably streaming on Spotify.
Probably great at a steel guitar.
Yeah,
playing that. He was familiar with the Weavers and offered to negotiate on behalf of the FBI. Randy agreed to speak with him and began working on a surrender. Meanwhile, on August 30th, Eugene, the SAC, told Grits if he couldn't get Randy to surrender by a certain deadline, then he would order a full-out assault. This did the trick, and the very next day, Randy Weaver surrendered, and he, Harris, and the Weaver children were escorted down the mountain. Harris was taken to Sacred Heart, where he was in critical condition, while Randy was taken to Boise, given a medical examination at St. Luke's Medical Center, and sent to Ada County Jail to await trial. Randy and Harris's trials began in April of 1993. Randy had a new attorney now named Gary Spence, who relied on the jury using no witnesses in order to cause disregard towards the FBI and ATF witnesses. Randy was dropped of all charges, except for his first failure to appear in court and breaking probation. He was given 18 months in prison and a $10,000 fine, but only ended up serving 16 months on behalf of good behavior, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, like, he had the reserve to get out on good behavior after everything that happened. I mean, I guess he did have his 3 other children on the outside, so he's probably like, okay, I gotta get out of here for them, but still.
I mean, dude,
it's pretty disciplined to that guy. I mean,
that just makes me think, like, at a time where I'm like, this sucks, or my life isn't going where I want to.
Dude,
imagine being that guy, dude.
I know.
You just lost your wife. You just sat in the house for like a year and a half. Your kids had to see all that happen. Your kid got shot. Wait, did Sam make it?
Oh, Sam died. He died on the spot.
So you lost your kid, your wife, your other kids had to see all this happen over a super long period of time. And then you go to jail and get fined. Life ain't
It's probably
that bad.
the worst part.
Yeah, life ain't that bad, man. Gosh.
$10,000, dang. That's like what? $1 million?
Isn't that what he paid for the property?
Yeah.
Dude.
Just about.
That's crazy.
No, dude, I like flip my mind when I drop a coffee mug. I can imagine dealing with that.
Yeah.
Good man.
So he was a good guy.
Yeah. So I think in conclusion, this is messed up.
Yeah, a lot went wrong. A lot was handled very poorly on both ends of the spectrum. On both ends of the spectrum. On the Weaver side and on the law enforcement side of things.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there wasn't like really one specific thing that sticks out where it's like, this is where everything went wrong. You know, it's hard to like pinpoint that, because for like the Weaver family, failure to appear in court
twice,
agreed to commit an illegal act for firearms, attending white supremacist meetings.
Not technically illegal. I don't know why I'm defending that part, but
Chris is like, I was at one last week.
Listen, they're kind of nice, and somebody brought homemade baked mac and cheese, and it was good. All right, I'll say that much.
Yeah.
All right, they make some mean mac and cheese, and we played cornhole, and it was a good time overall.
That's the whitest thing.
Exactly.
But like, okay, so, and then on top of that, his wife has some really wacky beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, am I interjecting? Do you have like a lot more?
No, I don't know why I said in conclusion, because there's still a couple things left to go. But I was also looking at my dead plant I have here, and I don't know why I've left it there. It's just
so dead.
It's extremely dead.
So dead.
It's deader than Samuel.
So dead.
That's. I think we end the episode there, honestly. Forget the rest of this stuff. Who cares about this? Just end it on a high note.
Oh. Well, if you add more, I don't want to.
Okay, I mean, it's not much. We'll just wrap it up real quick and then we'll talk.
Well, go through what you had.
Yeah. Harris's trial, on the other hand, during his trial, was dropped of.
That joke was so good, but so bad.
Dead Kids is funny. Not really.
Sorry.
But that was. Harris, on the other hand, was dropped of every single charge. He was even charged with the murder of Deegan 5 years later, but was then once again dropped of that charge because that is double jeopardy, which is not the game Jeopardy, but the name of that is derived from double jeopardy, which, fun fact, is when somebody is tried in court over a charge that was already dropped in a previous court trial.
Right.
We're learning a lot about the court system in this episode too. Yeah,
feels smarter.
Double jeopardy. What was the other thing that happened earlier? Bench warrants. I can't remember.
All stuff.
But some stuff about court stuff. That's cool. Not boring at all. I'm sure somebody found that interesting.
Oh, yeah.
In 1995, the Weavers filed a wrongful death claim with the government for $200 million. It was settled out of court, with Randy receiving $100 million and each of his daughters $1 million. Okay.
Wow.
And Harris filed in 2000 and received $380,000.
You want to go buy a cabin in the woods and fail to appear in court?
Dude, let's go. Let's go. I
mean, one of us might have to die, but the other one cashes out. So it's like, that's so much money. He got $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
Randy.
And each of his daughters got $1 million.
How much did he think he paid in taxes? Because that's taxed, I'm assuming. Government's not just handing out money.
Yeah, I don't know.
Uncle Sam getting his. Still. So even if he got half of that, even if he got 30% of that, I mean, my God, especially back then, dude.
1995, too.
Yeah, when a house was like $2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
$2. That's it. Anyway, Harris did the same thing in 2000, and his attorney insisted the U.S. government would not pay somebody who killed a U.S. Marshal, but he still won $380K. Not 100 mil, not even 1 mil.
It's not a bad day though.
No, not a bad day. And his wife and son didn't die.
Yeah.
So overall, I think Harris won first place in this. He got the biggest win overall of everybody involved. Harris was the winner.
First place.
He did get shot in the chest, but he didn't die.
Yeah.
I mean, his friend's wife and son died. But it wasn't his wife and son.
Yeah. I mean, if we're being real, there's no amount of money that's worth it to go through this. But I think it's in the end good that some
reimbursement,
whether it's money or whatever it is, like going through all that. Yeah, I think it kind of makes sense. But $100 million, I can't get over that, dude.
Yeah, he didn't have to worry about supporting his 3 other daughters.
I mean, it's an NFL salary. That's like crazy, dude.
From good old Uncle Sam.
And again, like not worth what he had to go through, but gosh, that's just nuts.
Uncle Sam was like, hey, sorry about killing your dog and messing with your wife and
shooting your wife and kid. Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to shoot your wife in the face. Here's money.
Here you go, pal.
Gosh,
go
dude.
get yourself something nice. Buy your daughter's college tuition. In 1998, Randa and Sari Weaver published their book, The Federal Siege at Ruby Ridge, then moved to Kalispell, Montana, where the Weavers still live. My wife's family lives there.
I've heard it's
They're
very nice.
It is a nice town. They have a Chick-fil-A now.
We don't have one here.
I know. It's such a bummer. We should have one here.
And a Chipotle. I have one in Washington, but it's like 30 minutes. Yeah.
Kalispell's a nice spot.
Yeah.
We're going to go visit them soon.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to hit up.
You ever been to Shields?
Where?
Shields?
Shields.
Yeah.
Is that a town?
It's okay. It's, imagine Cabela's, Dick's Sporting Goods, REI, had a kid, times it by 10, and put a Ferris wheel on the inside of it. That's Shields. They have one, I think, in either Billings or Bozeman, Montana. I was there when I was a kid for baseball, and then they just put one in Boise. Super off topic, but Montana, Montucky.
That sounds beautiful.
It's
that sounds
such a
like
cool store, bro. Shields. Yes.
Like an outdoorsy amusement park.
It's the nuts. It's awesome.
It's so cool. I should go. If I'm ever down in Boise, I'll check out Shields. It's probably so overpriced, though. Everything there.
I don't know.
No?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Oh.
I mean, I'm assuming it's
I'm even
probably
more
like
curious.
Cabela's. It's just a cool place to just go. Even if you're not going to buy anything.
She about that guy who swam naked in the Bass Pro Shop tank?
No.
Recent, too. That was recent.
Like with the catfish and...
Yeah.
Just...
Naked.
How did he get in?
Okay. I don't think anybody's going to try to stop him because, first of all,
But, like, where's the entrance to that? Because when you're on the outside in the store, like if you go to any of the Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops, you're in the store, there's no, like, oh, here's a little hobbit hole, it's going to go in the tank. Like, there's no way to get into it.
Bass Pro Shop is different. Have you ever been to the Bass Pro Shop?
No.
Their tank is open. It's way cooler. Their tanks are bigger than Cabela's, and it's open in the top. And the one in Alabama that I would always go to, it has like a staircase that leads around it, and there's like a little part where like a bubble inside the tank, so you kind of like crawl in and look inside the tank, and it's cool. So it's like that. So he crashed his car in the parking lot, ran inside naked, climbed up the stairs, jumped over the railing, swam in the tank, and then hopped back out and flopped around on the concrete like a wet naked fish until the cops came and arrested him.
This is all planned. This guy knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he was high on something.
Oh, yeah.
Could have guessed. Who would have thought he would...
Shocker.
Big, crazy... Whoa. On who knows what kind of drugs.
Yeah.
Probably meth.
Probably meth. Coke. I don't know.
All sorts of crazy uppers.
The powders.
Sidewinders and...
Sidewinders.
I don't know. Probably a concoction of gas station kratom and certain
heroin
pills that are sold behind the gas station counter and other. Did you know that you can make shoot, it's not meth, but it's like a type of it's kind of like smelling salts by spraying like Raid Hornet spray onto a window screen, and then I think electrocuting it with a car battery and then scraping that off. You get like, it's called poor man's meth, which is already a poor man's drug. So listeners out there,
I know
try
what I'm doing
spraying
when I get home.
I'm pretty sure it's a felony, so keep it on the down low. But try it, do it, get back to me, tell me how it is.
Don't do it. We are
Don't
not
do it.
incentivizing you to do
We are
that
not
whatsoever.
That was a joke.
But if you want to have fun, no.
No, don't do that.
But like I said, I know what I'm doing when I get home. So,
But also check the World Canon Twitter for the full recipe to crack.
to basement meth.
We're gonna get off this topic too. We're on all sorts of
Dude,
bad
we've gone
stuff
down some
this
rabbit
episode.
holes. Yeah.
Harris won $380K. Randy and Sarah wrote a book, moved to Kalispell, Montana. In 2012, Sarah professed to be a born-again Christian and has vocally forgiven the FBI and federal government for what happened at Ruby Ridge. That's nice. It's a good little note.
Yeah.
Probably steered away from the old covenant law stuff and
I'd hope.
got right with the Lord. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's a big silver lining in this story. A couple years ago, on March 11th, 2022, Randy Weaver passed away. Yeah.
You say 2022?
2022.
Just old age or?
He was like 72. Just, no. He was done. That's it.
Okay. What's so funny to me about really just conversation or especially
really
podcasting,
thirsty.
let the viewers hear me. ASMR. What's fascinating to me is all you had to do was say Montana. And then I talked about Shields. And then you talked about the guy at Brass Pro Shops who crashed his car on drugs, got out naked. Then we turned on to the basement meth thing, and it just wrapped a whole spiral down this whole deal from you saying Montana and me going Shields, and then we go to basement meth. I don't know how we got there.
And this is why podcasting is fun.
Yeah.
And easy.
Yeah.
Except for the microphone and camera part. I'm still working on figuring that out. But hopefully this episode we have it pinned
I think
down.
we do. Technology's tough sometimes.
Especially for me. I don't work with it a lot. Except for this.
Gotcha.
I'm computer illiterate.
Yeah.
Which is
build
odd
your
for a
brain.
young guy.
Yeah.
I'm a welder. I work with my hands for a
It's in
living.
the trades.
I'm in the trades. I'm a tradie. I melt metal. I glue
Tradie
metal
boy.
together. I melt metal together, and I make things out of that metal and sell it for such a high price, such a skyrocketed price. It's just inflation. That's all it is. Don't worry about it. Why is this gate $30,000? Inflation. Bidenomics.
Okay,
$30,000. Just sign the paper and stop asking questions.
dude. So we went shooting today in Hayden.
Lots of fun. Getting in the spirit for this episode.
Yes.
It was like meditation. Every shot, it was like, fire. The ATF is kind of dumb. I want a silencer and a submachine gun.
Silenced short-barreled P90. We went shooting today, and I've been wanting to buy some steel-plated targets for a while. Just never got around to it. Never got around to it. You know, the Black Sheep, they're like $80. It's like, you know.
So overpriced, by the way.
Eventually, we'll maybe go down that road. We go to get in his truck to drive there, and he just has this massive metal post with like 8 steel plates,
6.
all different colors and shapes on it. And he's just like, oh yeah, I made this morning so we could use it.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
It was so easy.
wait, you did, like today you made this? He made a whole, like, you would have to go pay for what he made, probably $100, $200 at the store. Like, and that's pretty cheap.
And it would have all
for
just
these
been
types of
orange
targets.
instead of multicolored like mine, which was fun.
Rainbow.
Yeah.
And he
Taste
did
the
that
rainbow.
this morning. What'd you do this morning? Not that. That's crazy.
Thank you.
And we also put some 308
Oh, you're gonna make me
straight
blush.
through it.
Yeah, dude.
Dude.
That 308 punched through that thing like a steel punch, like a steel like no resistance whatsoever.
Yes.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I mean, you said they were 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the 9mm was like someone doing that to you, and then the 308 was like Mike Tyson punching a baby.
Yeah, dude.
I'm sorry for that graphic.
Mike Tyson punching a baby. Holy crap.
First place my brain went. But yeah, it was, I just can't believe he made that this morning. Like that's
and then we destroyed it.
And then, yeah.
Dude, that was fun though. That was fun.
But transitioning back to Ruby Ridge before you concluded, in my brain, it's so polarizing because, you know, again, there's so much allegedly. He said, she did. She said, wow, she did. Great job. He said, she said.
Well, she is dead.
I know. And
she got a sniper round through her skull.
And then also so much like he did, she did. So it's polarizing. There's bias involved. There's a lot of ends of the spectrum. But all in all, it was just a poor situation handled on all fronts. You know, the ATF and the FBI did not handle it properly. There was miscommunication. Some guys thought what was going on with their orders was wrong, and some of them were all for it, like you mentioned. You know, on Randy's side of things, definitely, you know, we don't know what that's like, right? But in that situation, you should probably just like go to court, defend yourself, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you did something wrong, you get a little time, maybe you don't, maybe you get a good lawyer and you get off. I mean, OJ did it and he got away, so you can escape some sawed-off shotguns. I don't know. I mean, again,
the real one.
I mean, again, it's like, you know, you never know what you're going to do in that situation, but so much was handled poorly. I think on the federal side of things, it was horrible. I mean, these are people that, okay, maybe there's some, again, he was a former Green Beret and, you know, he's got these charges and he's attending, you know, allegedly attending these, you know, white supremacist stuff.
And allegedly a Green Beret.
But to surround his home with military experienced armed professional killers.
A little overkill.
And like, you know, again, back to when Sam went out, saw his dog get shot. What would you do if you were Sam?
And
what would you do?
The whole time doing this, there are like neighbors and people from town protesting the whole time.
Yep.
Like out
Yep.
on the road to
Yep.
like entrance to their property. Like, yeah, this is kind of dumb and overkill.
And for those who don't know, this town is miniature. It is very small. It is very remote. It's out in the middle of the mountains. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. This didn't happen in a place of even a population of a few thousand. It was very small. So, I mean, you know,
Hayden was the biggest town at the time. That was like 16 miles away.
Yeah.
From Naples.
Yeah. So it's crazy. It's polarizing. It's one of those situations where it's like tough to really know what to think because, again, none of us really know exactly what happened and how it was handled. But based off what we do have, just very poorly handled on both sides, in my opinion. Very polarizing.
Yep. Thanks for that, Alex. Wait. Dude, that sounded so good.
Really?
Was that off the top of your head?
Yeah.
I could have sworn you were like reading, like you rehearsed that or something.
Where am I reading?
I get back of your eyelids. I don't know.
My eyelids. Got some contacts in.
You memorized
got
that.
Invisible Apple Vision Pro. Just AI.
You got the stuff they haven't even announced yet.
Say.
You got the Neuralink.
Yeah.
Chip me up.
Please don't.
Chip me up.
I don't want nothing in my brain.
Yeah, no, me neither. That sounds horrifying, actually.
Bad. Black Mirror. Black Mirror is what that is.
Yeah.
This episode that we just did, that whole situation is like a Black Mirror episode. It's horrifying, dude. It's horrifying to think about what those people were going through. No matter how crazy they might have been, no matter their beliefs, they're humans. And they're in this house, and they got... Because I watched a piece of Sarah as an adult describing what she experienced. Mm-hmm. And obviously, that's her family. Very biased, right? And she probably doesn't know all of the details because she was young. But at the same time, she was saying, like, one of the scary parts, she was like, there was just gunfire coming from everywhere, and we couldn't see where or who or why. Just getting shot at. And not by small caliber rounds either. And we shot that 308 earlier. It's a boomstick. It's a boomstick.
Big boomstick.
Having that flying through your house, I mean, that's a horror movie. That's so scary, man.
No, that's it's not a fun fun childhood, to put it lightly. I wonder if you can get demonetized on a video with a channel with only like 4 subscribers, because this one is, if that's possible, this is gonna be the episode where that happens.
Maybe.
Which is fine. I'm not making anything from this, so I don't care. As long as it doesn't get taken down.
You will one day.
I hope for that day. I dream of that day.
Yeah, out of the 3 songs I posted on streaming, I've made like 50 cents.
Heck yeah, dude.
In like 2 years.
Make it big. Heck
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. Good for you.
Sir.
Yeah. How do we end this one?
I don't know. I don't know how to segue into an ending. That's Ruby Ridge. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you think.
Have you heard of John Joe Gray?
No.
Similar instance. I can't remember. I don't really know what he got indicted for, but he did the same thing. He went out to his property, didn't come to court, and the FBI went after him. But this was after Ruby Ridge and Waco. So they're like, we cannot mess this up again. So for literally 20 years, they had a standoff with this John Joe Gray guy. And he is, he's just still there on his property to this day. He's like 72 or something now. And they just have never arrested him. I think his statute of limitations is up, so he's technically free, but he still just hangs out on his property. And the FBI never went in after him because they didn't want to repeat Ruby Ridge. They figured like, oh, well, just keep him there, I guess. And he's cool. We're cool. We're not going to accidentally kill a woman or a child again or anything like that.
And didn't a lot, like, from a legal standpoint change after this on how situations were to be dealt with?
Oh yeah, dude, we could go into that a lot. That'd be like a whole other 30, 40 minutes. And just for time's sake,
definitely.
I left a lot out of this episode because I would like to maybe do a Waco episode too. So if we do that one, then we can cover the like federal investigations and all that stuff, because that was literally only like 6 months after Ruby Ridge.
Right.
So
it's crazy.
And then maybe we could do John Joe Gray. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
That one's crazy. You got to look it up later. Yeah. All right. Cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. This episode was really dark. Have fun out there. Stay safe. Make sure if you get called to court, appear in court. Just go to court. Accept the consequences, because it could be worse. Your dog could die.
It could be worse than that, but I mean, you know what he's saying.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh. Next episode. What are we going to do next episode?
To remind you. Yeah.
Thank you. Dang it. I wanted to do it differently this time. I wanted to write a bunch of little slips and put them in a bowl and have you draw one, but I forgot. So maybe next time we'll do that. Next time.
Sounds fun.
Let me get this pulled up. Episodes. Okay. So far we have done bananas. We've done Ruby Ridge, and we've done NASCAR. So here we go. I'm going to name one word from each of these items, and you need to pick one. Athens, 1908. Earl. Party. And Silk Road.
Athens, 1908. Silk Road, Party.
Mm-hmm.
What are the others?
There's Earl too.
Earl. It's so hard with one word, because I have no idea what it entails. Answer me this: Does Athens include Athenian history?
You would think. But no.
Would it? Oh, okay.
No.
Does it have to do with this? Okay, that answer, no.
It's actually, I'll give you this hint. Athens is, it's pretty similar to this episode.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Party.
Alrighty. Well, join us next week for the episode on Donner Party. From one dark episode to an even darker episode. I hope you stay tuned after this. Appear in court. Don't let children's show directors diddle your kids. Buckle your seatbelt.
No basement meth.
No basement meth. Don't electrocute windscreens after spraying Raid Hornet spray on it and then scraping it off.
A good time. No, don't do it.
Smoking it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Very bad.
You will go to prison and possibly die from some crazy overdose.
But if you get a court date from doing basement meth, you go.
You go to basement meth court date. Okay, goodbye.